Here's your quick overview on how to use MyFitnessPal. It is a blue app with the little white body. You can kind of see it on the right side middle of my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and open this. I'm going to show you how to use the free version. You'll notice that you can go premium, but that costs money. And if you only want to do MyFitnessPal for a couple of weeks and see where you are, then just go ahead and stay with the free version. Okay, so you'll notice at the bottom, you'll see home, diary, a blue plus, progress, and more. So I'm going to go ahead and click on more. And here is all your information. So as you'll notice, as you read down, I want you to go to goals. It's kind of in the middle. Now, in here, you can put your starting weight, your current weight, your goal weight. You can put your weekly goals, your activity level, whatever you want. None of that is actually necessary if I figured out your macros and calories for you. So let's just go to nutritional goals. And let's click on the first. And you will see here is where you can put your goals. So for me, my calories are 2,600. My carbs are 40%, proteins 30%, and fat. So let me just click on calories, and you can see you can add it right in there. So if I wanted to change it, okay. And then you go to your carbs, and it will actually, if you push any of them, you can go ahead and set everything. Make sure you get 100% total. And you're going to go back. And we're going to go back to this screen. Again, down at the bottom, you'll see home, diary, the plus button, progress, and more. You can, in your own time, kind of go through here and see what other things the app does, but I'm just going to show you briefly all you need to do for now. So I'm going to click the button, blue plus button. Now I can add weight, water, status, exercise, and food. All we're worried about right now is food. So I can select a meal. Let's say I want to add breakfast for today. Here are, you'll notice my history. Okay, so it makes it super, super easy if you eat the same types of foods, or just as you go, it's going to have those for you. So I'm going to hit multi-add down at the bottom, and then I will click on the things that I had for breakfast. For example, I had some oat milk with my coffee. I had 1 egg. My omega-3s, you do not have to add that. I just did because it was already in there. Then I can add my egg whites. Of course, I measured those prior. They're already in here. Had some almond butter and some oatmeal. Then I'm going to add all of them. Okay. Now look up at the top. You can see where I have my calorie goal is 2,600. My breakfast just had 479 calories. So I have remaining 2,121 calories. I can also click, you have to be careful here, but let's say I want to know where I am in my macro ratios. I'm going to click sort of where it says goal, like the 2,600, and it will give me my macros. So right now, I had only 30% of my carbs. I had 40% of my fat and 29% of my proteins. Okay, I'm going to go back to calories, and it'll show me how many calories. Okay, I'm going to click out of here, top X button. And now you'll notice as I scroll, my breakfast is already in there. You'll notice I have lunch, dinner, and snacks. So let's say before lunch, I had a snack. I'm going to, instead of clicking the bottom button with the plus sign, I'm going to click the blue add food sign. here's my history. Again, let's say I'm going to do multi-add. Let's say I had an apple and some low-fat cottage cheese. Add. Okay, there it is. If you look up at the top, it'll give me a running total of my calories. And if I want to click, I can see where I am on my macros. And remember that your calories are more important hitting that than it is your macros. I'm going to show you another feature. So on food, or on lunch, if I click add food, again, there's my history of other foods I've had. You'll notice if up at the top, I can scan a barcode. If I put any recipes in here, they will save them. But let's go back, and you'll notice where it says under lunch, add yesterday's lunch, swipe right to add the meal. So if I'm having the exact same lunch as I did before, which like I've talked about, I often do, all I have to do is swipe right and it's automatically added for me. Okay, so again, to add food, I can either click add food under lunch, or I can hit the blue button in the center with the white plus sign. Either way. Okay, now you can add water to keep up with your water. I'm going to click add water, and I can put the amount of ounces. So let's say I just finished 8 ounces, and I can hit click, and then it keeps up with how much water. As far as adding exercise goes, I do not ever add that, only because if I have figured out your macros for you and you filled out the Google form, I have taken into account and giving you an average of what your calories should be according to your average amount of workout, the type of workout you do, what your lifestyle is, and all that. Because remember, this is not going to be exact. This is going to be close, and then you're going to kind of keep up with how you feel, where your fat loss, weight loss is, and change accordingly. So again, to add any food, lots of different ways to do it. Let me show you another on dinner. So again, shows me my history, and if you'll notice to the right of history, it says most recent. So it has it filtered for me that way, what my most recent dinners were. Again, this is all my history over the year. Okay. Now, if something is not in there, I can click the search for food. And let's say I had salmon. I can write salmon, and it gives me lots of choices. So first of all, it gives me my history, what I've already had. Okay. Let's say I didn't have a history of it, and let's say I want to say hamburger. Okay, then it gives me all these results. It will even pull up restaurants. So let's say I want to say Pei Wei. It will give me choices from Pei Wei. So there's lots of different ways to do this. Don't make it difficult, and just remember that you are only doing this for 2-3 weeks. You can choose to do it longer, but I have found that if you do it for 2 weeks, you'll kind of get an idea of where you are, what your food, you become more aware of how many calories different foods have, as well as what you're typically getting. And just like everything else, the more effort you put in, the more you'll get out of it. I know this is not a fun thing to do, but again, it depends on how serious you are about getting results.